wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
The legend.
RZA. He's here back. Welcome.
Bong back in the building.
How you feeling, brother?
I feel super great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Everything is lovely. I see you guys are back on tour.
Yes, indeed.
Now-
Wu-Tang Clan, the final chamber.
How difficult was that to put together?
Well, you know, it's not as difficult as it used to be. You know what I mean? But this is our last chance to run around the globe together. And yeah, it kind of was, everybody, you know, agreed that it was the time. We started thinking of a name. Everybody's like, this one, that. The final chamber. So let's end with that. So bong, bong, here we are.
Why the final chamber, though? Like, how do you know you're putting a period on this? Is it just for the tour or just Wu-Tang in general?
Oh, no, Wu-Tang's forever.
Forever.
That's why we put that Wu-Tang forever in there.
Word.
Because it's, you know, Wu-Tang is beyond just our physical presence of it, you know what I mean? But far as us coming together and coming to your city, all 9 members on stage, you know what I mean? You know, when you get your ticket, you getting that, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you go to a Wu show, you might get 4, 5, you know what I mean? So this is like, nah, here we all are. Clear your schedule for this, you know what I mean? And let's run around the globe one more time together. So we'll start right here in America, give it to you know, then shoot across the water, you know what I mean? Show some love and just, you know, kind of, the best way I can say it is take off that, it's kind of a burden to all come together, you know what I mean? Because everybody got a life, a job, something going on in their lives. And so what we said, when that Wu bat sign go up, we all come, and the sign went up, and everybody's here.
Did the residency make it easier for everybody to say, yo, we can do this?
The residency helped, but even at the residency, we had some absentees. You know what I mean? So, but it really helped, because it really helped just that consistency of coming together, the consistency of our brotherhood. Our brotherhood really never diminished over the years, and I think for Wu-Tang, we represent community unity. You gotta, that's you know, so many of us was inspired by, like, yo, the Wu is like, you know, your whole neighborhood on stage, you know what I mean? And I think that we could use that right now, I think, you know what I mean? Like, even artistically for the culture, we could come in and look at the example of the Wu. Yeah, so the time is now, you know what I mean?
Does it financially make sense? And the reason I asked, I said all 8 members, you got DJs, you got everybody comes with at least one person, security, whatever that means. So that's a lot of money to put out. But, you know, Wu-Tang is always, you know, for the hood. So I'm sure you guys are not charging astronomical prices. So financially, was it a financial thing? Or is it one of those things where it's like, we just need to do this regardless of finances?
Oh, the finance is so beautiful, because if you take a moment, right, and think about the Wu-Tang legacy and think about how many families is eating off of that legacy. You know what I mean? I'm talking about thousands, right? That legacy has went on from the music to sparking other MCs to figure out their careers, to inspire other producers and MCs and DJs to get up and say, yo, I'm a DJ now. So, and then when you go on a tour, you know, I mean, our tour, you know, I just saw the tour bus count. Got about 8 buses.
That's great. That's crazy.
So I'm just trying to tell you. And then all the trucks. You know, the production for this tour is crazy. We took time to really produce something. You know, since the New York State of Mind, we've only kept elevating the level of production. So it's going to be, there's so many families, you know, union workers, truck drivers, caterers, I mean, the security. It's a village that's going to eat off of this, and that's the beauty of it in all reality.
What's the difference between touring as grown men versus when y'all was younger?
That's a good question. I think, like, as men, you men, right? Before you're trying to get shorties to line outside your door, right? Right. You're kind of touring for the experience of you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? But now, you know, you're moving with maturity, and I think you really, I can speak for myself since I'm the one talking, I think I really can understand the impact of what the music do and what it means, right? When somebody hears, I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side, and they relate that back to their life,
Mm-hmm.
having secondhand clothes. You know what I mean? Even though a lot of us is doing better, a lot of us is doing worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think that as a man touring around the world and showing our culture, it's more meaningful than ever.
Mm-hmm. Now, I seen in an interview that you said you went to each member and said, what do you want to be on this tour? What do you need? And you was able to give everybody that. How difficult was that? And was there anybody that you couldn't give what they wanted?
Nah, at the end of the day, you gotta, be satisfied, right? So we know we deal with mathematics, right? And we know that when there's dissatisfaction, it breeds confusion, right? They say, even when 70% of the people were satisfied, the other 30% was dissatisfied. And that other 30% went and started their own shit, and now you got competition. So you got to strive to reach satisfaction. And satisfaction is when someone can say, yo, for me, I don't care if it's just like, yo, I just want bananas every night in my dressing room. That's what he want. You know what I mean? Let's accommodate that.
Gotcha.
Let's accommodate the comfortability because I think I know I see it different. My brother Devon see it different. Our whole management team, we know that when you are going out on the road, you leaving your family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You leaving with your routine of life, and so we want to make you as comfortable as possible. So this becomes a moment of joy versus a moment of work.
Mm-hmm. Are you confident that every single member is going to show up for the show?
I mean, I'm confident for confidence sake. You know what I mean? Of course I'm confident, you know what I mean? But, this is life, you know what I mean? You can make a wrong turn on the 95 and end up in a small town for the night, you know what I mean? But nah, I mean, far as the intention, right? It's all about intention, and the intention, everybody is intending to be here. So if there's a glitch in the matrix, we'll deal with it.
Right.
And there's an album to come with this too?
No. I mean, A Law of Mathematics has a new album that he put together called Black Sansom. He got a new song called Mandingo. He took all like the black exploitation and kung fu movies and did an album and got the entire Wu-Tang Clan MCs on it. Got Benny the Butcher, Cool G, just one of those A Law of Mathematics albums. That's dope, and so that's just ironically is coming out around the same time, but it wasn't like it wasn't like it was a strategy plan. It was just like he finished it at the time when the tour is about to happen. So that's a blessing for him. And then I did hear, I could say this on the air, I did hear some of Raekwon's new album too. He's on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
One of those?
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what I'm having.
So hopefully he gets that out before the tour drops and bong bong.
Are you involved in Ray's new album?
Just, I'm the abbot, you know what I mean? The guy, they come to the temple and see if the abbot, want to add some flavor to it or give some wisdom or advice, you know what I mean? But he's the foundation of it. He came to me right during the holidays when he felt like he had a nice, I just call it a
body of work?
Yeah, body of work. I was going to call it dough, like piece of dough. You got to mold that shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, and we vibed out, listened to it twice, and then was like, I had some vision and share my vision. But, that's it's him doing it. Raekwon's always, he's a general, always, know how to lead himself, but then also as a general, it's wise to check in with the abbot and be like, yo, Abbott, what's your 2 cents on this?
The thing with Ray's music, you got to clean your palate. Whenever you listen to any new Raekwon album, and when I mean clean your palate, you can't have no purple tape on your mind. Because the purple tape set the bar.
Yeah, it does.
It's extremely high. It's probably, it might be the greatest hip-hop album of all time. It's in that conversation.
One of those, absolutely.
Yeah, it's in that conversation. Well, one thing about him, it's a few MCs, right, in our business that just when they open their mouth, it sounds like a record. Nas is one.
Yes.
Of course, the Biggie was one. Jay, Ray.
Ghost.
But no matter what, like when you hear them, you hear a record. You Snoop, you hear them, you hear a record. You know what I mean? And so on his new music, it's just like he's choosing unique ways, unique tracks. But as soon as his voice come in, it's like, oh, it's a record. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Was it difficult? Who was the most difficult to get to do this? And not because of them being difficult, but maybe because of scheduling, right? You got Meth that's acting, you're acting and producing. You got Raekwon that owns a bunch of businesses, and these brothers leaving their families. Who was the most difficult to get? It was like, this is gonna be a little tough.
I mean,
if anyone,
I'll say, you know, I won't say difficult, but let's just say, you know, like, you know who does the most shows out of all of us?
Who's that?
The
Ghost,
Jizza.
right?
No, the Jizza.
Oh, word.
Listen, the Jizza he's like a jazz musician, yo. Like it's like you call him, yo, want to do the resume? Say, oh, I got 40 shows. I'm going to Europe. Or yo, I'm going to 20 shows in Canada.
Wow.
He stays that Liquid Sword album.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably one of the best hip hop albums of all time too.
Absolutely.
It just go. So you got to check his schedule because he definitely is knocking 150 shows out a year, and so we actually had to pace and wait for him. And I personally
he had to wait for it because he was on tour.
Yeah, I gave him a call. I was like, how's your schedule for this year? Like, you know what I mean? He was like, I'm good. I need this much time right here.
Mm-hmm.
And bang, he said, yeah, give me his word.
I want to get back to the tour. I want to ask you about Liquid Sword since we on it, because we was having a whole debate last night in the group chat just about Wu-Tang songs, Wu-Tang music, because, you know, my guy B-Dot put out a top 10 greatest Wu-Tang records. And on Liquid Swords, Cold World, it goes Cold World, Labels, Fourth Chamber, and the Shadow Boxing. That's probably one of the greatest sequences on an album. Do you remember arranging that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. That's one of my specialties, I think. Not knowing then, right? Mm-hmm. The natural ability of editing or having a through line of storytelling,
mm-hmm.
right? But it was always been my personality. And at that time, it was only expressed through music.
Mm.
Now it's being expressed, and I direct films and
Mm-hmm.
TV shows and all that. But it was the same type of energy. Like I could feel the way it go.
Mm-hmm.
I could feel like when the listener is listening, it's like, oh, yo, I want your emotion to rise up, get them up. Because by the time you got the Fourth Chamber, if you driving, you might get a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I wanted, you know how you feel that right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always strive to get that feeling, to have your spine feel it. Like I said, lyrics. I said, March of the Wooden Soldiers, see cypherpunks try to hold us, 1,000 men watching, not one nigga can hold us. Perpendicular to the square, we stand glow like flare. Escape from your dragon's lair. In particular, my beats travel like a vortex up your spine to the top of your cerebral cortex.
Ooh, yeah.
That's my goal. Is to hit you, bam, then I'm good.
When the last time you listened to your verse on Fourth Chamber? Because it's so relevant to the day. That's why.
I'm back into the study of everything of Wu right now. You know, this tour. First of all, we got special guest Run the Jewels. And so it's like this is going to be a lyrical tour. You know what I mean? It's going to be one of those tours that, you know, you're going to get your sweat off, guaranteed. You're going to get your jumps. You're going to get your classics, but it's going to be those moments you're going to be like, I needed that. You know what I mean? Because you know, words, in the beginning was the word, and the word became flesh. You know what I mean? And so those words are healing. You know what I mean? It's like, and you know, we need it. Like I had something I was going to say to y'all this morning. A law of segregation and discrimination is a sickness to any nation. When you deny a portion of the population a chance to experience the elevation, it will only lead to the decimation of your system. And the next generation will pay for the mistake that will result in economic inflation. Ghetto living, innocent Black Latinos and European immigrants stuffed inside housing tenements. Low-income recipients, they got to choose between the food or the rent. Neighborhoods are cramped like POW camps. And X marked the spot where the insidious policies were stamped. Bad health increasing, bad policing, and there's gentrification and Michael and Brad is leasing. At night, they feel fright from the dimly lit street lights. My man G, he could beef and fight, but he couldn't eat right. Loud sounds echoing gunshots, he couldn't sleep right. Wow, what a life. When your life ain't worth a loaf of bread or a box of white rice. Yeah, blessed be the meek. They said turn the other cheek, but J-Bone just knocked him out with a sneaky right and put him off his feet. It could come last, it could come fast in the blast, knock your senses back to the past. It's like old popping sounds of big brass sections you hear from old jazz. Me, I stick to a piano key. Speak from a low A minor to a soprano E, B-O-B. It's the Abbott MC.
What's that from?
That's something just there.
You said he just did it this morning. That just came to your mind when you was driving?
Yeah, that's something I was saying. I'm gonna share something here in the phone book.
Are you getting back in the booth, then? Because it sounds like you ready.
It ain't, whether it's in the booth or not, this tour, like I said, this is that moment for the Wu to that W, that wisdom, that that unpredictability. Like let's get that back into the system. I honestly feel that Wu is like a part of hip hop culture that's needed. You know what I mean? And whether we could be the ones that continue to physically do it, or some young brothers are listening and they pick it up and they come and bring that wave. Like there's some young brothers I know, Coast Contra, y'all been seeing them?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Good flows, good style, good everything. Once they start injecting a little more wisdom into that, you know what I mean? Hip hop needs that. You know what I mean? It ain't all just about all our money, guns, and sex and drugs. You know what I mean? That's a portion of it. But it's not all of it.
I saw you say something recently where you said Hot 97 banning Wu-Tang's music contributed to, I guess, not just the decline of the group, but just the decline of New York sound and everything.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, we could date that. You know what I mean? We could look at it and see it happening. Because when you're dealing with business, right, like all of us, we got jobs, right? And so we got to come in and do our job. If the dude say, hey, paint it blue, and you the painter, you got to paint it blue, right?
Right.
Even though like, man, this blue is going to really turn everybody away, or it's really, the paint got lead in it or whatever. You still got to stick to the job. And I think, like, at that time, and even maybe now, people were scared to fight for each other. You know what I mean? That's been one of our issues, I think, as our culture, right? Which, there was a point when the culture started, because of money, we did started accepting each other. I remember when like Master P and them would come to New York and we accepted it, you know what I mean? When Dre and Snoop and Ice Cube, we accepted it, First, we accepted from the music, right? And that's private. But then when somebody's blowing with money, then you accept it because of the money. And so now you admire him because of his money, but not because of his skill or because of the culture. You know what I mean? So when that starts happening, it's almost like now you're diminishing the culture because of the money. So yeah, a dude can make a hit. At the end of the day, we talk about hip hop hits. Hammer had hits, baby.
Hell yeah.
Okay, he was going diamond. You know what I mean? And
But people didn't accept that as hip hop for some reason back then.
Even worse than that, right? Even worse than that. And I know I was pretty hard on Hammer myself, so I'm gonna act like I wasn't, because I was on some woo, right? But we don't even give him his accolades, yo. He opened the door at the end of the day.
We
right?
made fun of him,
for commercial success.
We did all that, but
he helped. Like see, that's why I say Allah is merciful. He takes a flaw, like you could take, like, let me give you a quick metaphor. I won't go too deep, but let's look at two of our greatest artists, right? 50 Cent, right, and I'm gonna say Ye, right? Both caught a flaw in their jaw, right? One from a car crash and one from a tragic street incident, but both now develop a tone that attracts the world. So from a flaw in the jaw, you know what I mean? Allah blesses them more. It's like nah. Now you come back and it's like his whole swag, his whole everything is sharpened without even knowing. So hip hop itself, they say the dude was like, he said he was in his crib, one of the old DJs, right? He's in the crib and his mom's coming and he holds the record. Huh? And she's like, turn it down, blah, blah, blah. He's like, holding it. Now the scratch is invented.
that's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Right.
From a flaw.
Right.
I remember Easy Mo B was doing a seminar. I was there. It was Gamble and Huff. And he was saying, like, yo, how do you guys get that one part of the song, that hi-hat, I think in For the Love of Money, or one of their songs, like those hi-hats, Like when it dropped out right there, I sampled it. I used it in all my beats. And I think Mr. Gamble was like, oh, that was a mistake.
Wow.
So even from a mistake, right, we've given a chance to multiply and to make something great.
You ever had one of those?
Yeah.
What was yours?
Man, so many, to be quite frank. It's just like sometimes you could go to your beat machine and it just glitches out. You know what I mean? I feel like Method Man, the original drum, the way it happened was almost like a glitch out, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I just emulated it. I emulated the mistake. You know what I mean? But I think
So
this.
what's that? The dun, dun,
No, not that. The pat, put the pat, to the pat, to the pat. It's like that's the bounce of it. So so when a guy like him got it on the mic, he started riding his horse. You know what I mean? So, but there's others too that it just happens like that. You know, when it will flaw. You know, I mean, even if you think about Shame, right? I mean, Dirty came in late to the studio, but he did that verse, right? One take, and then he's like, Shame, what nigga, pow. That was like, he just, I said, nah, go do it over. He said, nah, God, they're gonna love it.
Wow.
I was like, all right.
He was right.
He was, exactly. I mean, I learned from that. Like,
So
let
that
it
was
be.
a one take and
One take.
hut 1, hut 2, hut 3.
Yeah,
hut.
got through that, but got through all of that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's one thing about Dirty, if we could talk about him for a moment. Shout out to YDB. He'll be on the tour with us. He'll be
That's his son, right?
That's his son, his firstborn son, Barson. He'll be on the tour doing his father verses for us. He's been doing it for years, and he's been doing a great job. But one thing about Dirty, he almost never say the same lyric twice. I mean, say the lyric the same way twice. If he did it, shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yay. Next time he do it, he's not going to do it like that. He's almost like once again, like a jazz musician. He just goes with the spirit. You know what I mean? And he'll say a rhyme that we wrote when we was 14 years old. And then he was saying it during the Wu era and eating motherfuckers up because I'll grab the mic and I'll damage you. And like you listen to his album, that lyric is on the album twice.
Yeah.
Right?
Favorite songs, yeah.
Yeah, right, because it was more of a performance, more of a energy that he would bring versus just the lyrical content. But he was very special in that I think he helped bring freedom to hip hop expression.
Yeah, when they used to talk about, I think they said Jizza used to write for Dirty sometimes. Is that true?
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you write for Dirty? Like,
Well, that's because we cousins, right? So that's like at that table. The Jizza, we used to go to the Jizza house. You know, this is poverty days. Jizza may have just, one box of oatmeal, and we'll go get some Kaiser buns. You know, in New York.
Yeah.
That's dinner, baby. And we'll still stay there for 3 days on oatmeal and Kaiser buns, just making pause tapes and writing songs. You know what I mean? Like, so even when it says when the MCs came, we made that when we was like 14, 15.
Wow.
And when we was doing Liquid Sports, I was like, yo, let's do that old routine we did at the table in that pause tape. And we did it, and bong bong. You know what I mean?
Do you ever remember those records that you lost in the flood? Did you ever get any of that or were able to produce that over or any of that at all?
Nothing ever came back like it was. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, Envy. We're gonna we're building this time capsule for the tour, and we're gonna invite our fans, to come out, and somebody will win every night where you could take something from your Wu nostalgia, your Wu history, and put it in this time capsule. And we don't know where we're gonna put it at. I may bury it somewhere. I may put it in a museum, but I'm gonna collect something from every, city, from somebody. But the first thing I'm gonna put in there, and I'm kind of telling you for the first time because I was gonna surprise. I'm gonna take those discs that had Inspector Deck's album, and I'm gonna put it in that time capsule.
Wow.
And if somebody find it years later and open it up and figure out that, if technology could get all that or whatever is on it, bang, bang.
I'm shocked we don't have that now. There's no technology that can get that now.
Hasn't happened. We took you know, Dex, Matt, you know, they snuck a few out and tried to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's on floppy disk, yo. You know what I mean? They took it to the NASA people and didn't get it.
Couldn't get it out.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
He's the one who suffered the most from that flood, right?
I would say artistically, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Economically, everybody suffered. You know, it was 2 floods. We don't even, you know, like I don't know. I just took it like Noah. You know what I mean? Like
Just kept it moving.
Yeah, wash all your shit away. I've lost more in life than I've shared. You know, I'm out of the lost phase. I got a good wife. You know what I mean? Who know how to keep life organized for me and keep the balance. But before, yeah, I was definitely known for losing a lot of things. Yeah.
Now that one album, I can't remember his name, that the gentleman bought. Did y'all
Martin
ever,
Shkreli.
Yeah, Mark Shkreli. Did you ever get that album back? Because I know there was a fight to get it back. Did you ever get it back?
Not personally, but it's owned by a group of people called Please the Dow. It just it continues to increase in value and have its own life. I mean, they bought it for like $4 million, and now there's people talking about like a whole another thing of what it could be. So it's kind of one of those things that have a life of its own.
Are we ever going to hear that, or that's part of the deal that they can never play it publicly?
No, actually, I'm striving now at this phase since we're, you know, at this age and kind of to figure out something. I mean, the thing was, it was like not to be, it can't be commercialized, right, for 88 years. You know what I mean? So
it can't be sold. It can't be on
it can't be
like
commercial. It can't be commercialized.
Streaming services.
You could give it away. I told Mr. Shkreli that in the beginning. I was like, yo, 'cause especially just to give you a little backstory on that, I met him before he became the most evilest man in the world. Remember they had the most evilest man in the world. So I met him before he became Lex Luthor. You know what I mean? Straight up. And, you know, we sat down and he was telling me, you know, I'm a Wu fan. I love 50 Cent. I love hip hop. Raekwon, you know, some of his lyrics has made me do business things. And he had a whole plan. He was gonna buy this Enigma machine. I don't know if you know what the Enigma machines are.
I don't.
Those are the decoding machines they used to make in World War II when they had to figure out. In fact, it led to the computer. So he wants and all the turning papers, who was the guy who basically invented the computer. He was in the Wu album. He was like, I'm gonna get all these things, and you're gonna do something. I was like, okay, what the fuck you gonna do? But he had a plan. Like whatever he was gonna do, boom. And then when it went negative on him, like maybe a few months later, I saw it on TV. I saw him on the news. I was telling my wife, yo, that's the guy that we selling the album to. She said, oh, I wouldn't sell it to him. I said, oh no, it's already like a deal, even though it wasn't. The money didn't exchange hands. It was already a deal and was in contract for him. So I was like, nah. I mean, I sat down with him. I told him yes. And so now it's at the day that he gets it, and you know he got a lot of security, everything. You know, and he had some big dudes with him. And I just said, let me talk to him for a moment by himself. Come here, kid. He's still a kid to me. Right? So I'm like, yo, listen. If I was you, I would just give this away to the world. Like, do something good. Because people were saying, like, you bad right now. He was like, just smiled at me. And went worse.
It went worse.
Yeah, so. But I think that would be a beautiful thing if it was a way to give it. Or, you know, yeah. I just think it would be nice to share it.
You know, if Wu-Tang was starting today, how do you think the industry would treat a group like Wu-Tang?
I think we'll still break through, right? One, we wasn't, you know, remember we came through also, like we would rush in the building too now. So even though I actually think they built the building security because of Wu-Tang.
I'm sure.
remember before you could walk into a label, like get in the elevator?
Before there was no front, you could just go right upstairs.
Yeah, man, now, boy, you know what I mean?
It's 2 forms of security, downstairs and then upstairs.
And
when you get to the
upstairs,
floor.
yeah, man. You got all type of, it's like, you know what I mean? Cell block H. No. I think beyond all that, right? I think the talent, man. Look at the kind of talent you got in the Wu. You can see the talent. The proof of it is just like, even Method Man is going to go ahead and be a star. Ghost is going to go ahead and be a star. You know what I mean? So it's just like you couldn't, couldn't deny it. Inspector Deck, who don't get the credit as he should, I think, far as star level. I mean, I won't say as far as star level because the fans go crazy when he comes on stage, but I mean, far as within our industry, separating all those top names we mentioned, Inspector Deck got some of the best verses in hip hop history, yo.
It's not even close.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, so but that talent is right there. His talent is what the first thing you hear when you hear Wu. First thing you hear, I smoke on the mic like smoking Joe Frazier. And you like, and you immediately your ear rolls, oh wow, who's this guy? And then you think it's over. Then another guy comes in. Ray got it going on, pal. You're like, oh wow, who's this guy? So I think the talent will always break through. Just like when you see other talents in our industry right now that just have something that you know, Tyler in the art future, Tyler the creator and his whole crew, like you couldn't deny. When Frank Ocean album came out, he was like, oh yo, it was that's on repeat. Yeah.
Now on this tour bus, will there be a studio on the bus? I'm sure with your mind there will be a studio on the bus.
Yeah, well actually there's a bus. So John Lennon, right? John Lennon, his foundation has a bus called the John Lennon bus, which they use for a lot of education purposes. And I had it travel with us on the last tour. And I'm gonna have it travel on this tour. So it's not only a studio, but it's like when you use it, it helps kids in the cities and all that, and they take it around the world and teach music education and continue John Lennon's legacy. You know, imagine all the people living life as one, right? Yeah, John Lennon, right? That was
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the fourth chamber verse you spit back in the day, because it's so relevant today. Because you talk about government control, economic inequality, media manipulation, all of that. Where when you wrote that, was that prophecy or was that what you were seeing at the time?
A little bit of both, right? As an artist, like it's easy to say, right now, oh yeah, that was a prophecy. But as an artist, you're supposed to tap in, right? It's like, to be quite frank, everybody is an antenna. You know what I mean? The biochemical equation of your physical composition is receiving signals. You could receive a thought right now from your man in LA. You know what I mean? Without this is kind of a proof for us who grew up without having this much power in our hand, cellia, right? And that is still cells all in your body. You know what I mean? But as an artist, you get a signal. You feel something. Some people say it woke them out their sleep and they wrote songs. And yesterday, I heard Paul McCartney say yesterday he woke up. It was in his dream. And that song is forever, right? So I think that, I know that myself as an artist, I would always just get hit with a jolt of electricity and I would just write. And so, of course, I was studying at that time as well, attuned with mathematics. Mathematics don't lie, you know what I mean? And it's just like some of the words just, they just come to you and you got to be grateful and you let it out. And sometimes when you hear yourself back, it's not even, you're actually not, it's like that recording is, sometimes it's not you, you feel me? You know what I mean? It's almost like third person. That's why
Out-of-body experience.
Yeah, that's why I was like the RZA. Like, I mean, it's a title.
Right.
And even that name, it came like that. It was like, because I was walking around Prince Rakim. It was like, then something was like, and I might have had a good smoke that day. I mean, it was like, yo, the RZA. What is that? Right? But if you look at the letters, right, the R, as Rakim said, is the 18th letter. And R is for rule or ruler. So that means you got to start to rule yourself. But a ruler, right, it's not just the action of, oh, he's the ruler of the country. No, a ruler is a measurement device that you must use to measure everything before you get into your square, right? So now if I measure everything first, before I zig, when it's time for me to zag, which could be going in the wrong direction, I know I can always zig back. And then that A is for Allah, right? And that's that arm, leg, arm, head. And so in my life, I was like, it was just time for me to be like, I have to be the RZA. And then my brothers was like, after we started moving our unit, shout out to Power, shout out to Divine, shout out to Tarif. Before we started moving our unit, it was like, yo, you the Abbott. You know what I mean? It's all right. That's my title within Wu, I'm the Abbott. But the universe gave me that title to RZA.
So I wonder what you see now, like when you see things like Ice Rage, and then you think about the Fourth Chamber verse, and you was like, a hit was sent from the president to raid your residence. Yeah. You know, or when you see stuff like the coronavirus and stuff like that, you say 6 million devils just died from the bubonic flu or the Ebola virus. You're just speaking about this plague that took over. Like, what do you when you see what happened over the years, and you think about that verse, what do you think?
No, I'd be like, yo, at one point it's like, the reality is the reality, right? Word, time. Words take time to materialize, right? Mm-hmm. So now we talking prophecy. Let's just talk about Noah. They say he preached for like 300 years, telling people, yo, look, we're gonna have to build these arcs and get in the water and go. And they're like, man, first of all, keep in mind, he's in the desert talking about it's gonna rain. So they can't believe that. But the time for the word to be materialized is the process of going from a thought to a gas to a liquid to a solid manifestation, right? So you may say something today that won't manifest till later. And so some of those lyrics are that, right? Even more, I think, if you go into this song Impossible.
Oh, my God.
Right? So even there, it's like, you know, my verse starts off with fusion of the 5 elements, right, which is mental and physical, right? And this is before, the strong feminist movement. I was saying that, women are going to be more celibate. Like, they're not going to be messing with us like that, you know what I'm saying? And something in life becomes irrelevant. But the benevolent king will communicate to you through your dream. Right? So the Most High, he'll hit you through your dream and give you a mental picture will be formed. And then the law is heard and seen everywhere in your surrounding atmosphere, thermosphere, stratosphere, troposphere. Can you imagine from one single idea, everything appeared here? Let there be light. That was a single idea. But it took time for all that to grow. Scientists say the Big Bang Theory. They're talking about it took billions of years. We know it's been trillions of years for it to grow, right? So a mental picture's been painted, also and seen everywhere. Let there be light, and the light is here. So anyway, sometimes you, as an artist, right, you go back and look at science fiction, and we watch Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek, and we're like, yo, wow, he had the flip phone. The next thing you know, the flip phone is in physical existence versus being an artistic existence. Yeah.
That's funny. You said Impossible because when B-Dot did these, so I'm going to read you these top 10 best Wu-Tang songs. He had number 10, Wu-Tang Ain't Nothing to Fuck With. Number 9, Win Awards. Number 8, Mystery of Chess Boxing. Number 7, Reunited. Number 6, It's Yours. Number 5, Protect Your Neck. Number 4, Can It Be Also Simple. Number 3, Ice Cream. Number 2, Triumph. Number 1, Cream. We started flaming them in the group chat. We just it's just not a good list. Like,
that's his list. That's his list.
That's his list. But then, like,
very commercialized.
Oh, that's B-Dot right there.
B-Dot just happened to be there.
What up, yo?
But we said Impossible is one of those songs that should be on there. What do you think of that list, first of all?
Well, no, the list is up to the list maker. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
he gets that list from online. There's people that go on his online and hit him while he's doing the live thing. So
not just that, and also that list might be the top 10 streamers. At the end of the day, you go and check the top streamers.
But those are the commercialized lists. Those are the ones that are casual Wu fans. Those are the ones that they like.
Yeah, those are the ones you better perform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We come in, you better hit us. And yo, look, the beautiful thing is Winter Wars. Cap came out of nowhere, right?
Oh my God.
Remember that? I mean, that's some time ago. But once again, talent. Nobody knew this guy. You know what I mean? We knew him. You know what I mean? I knew that, he's one of the dopest MCs on Staten Island while we was growing up. Me and him always had tapes together. Like, we had our tapes was circulating before Wu had tapes. You know what I mean? That's why he's like, me and RZA raw name printed in the tablet under vets. We paid our debts for mad years. He was like, we was already having tapes before the other brothers was doing their thing. But he comes out of the now, and U-Guard brings him to the crib, and you know, boom, I was just happy to see him, you know, because Capadonna, his name at first was Original Legit. I mean, or Original, right? So I was like, Original, you know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, you know, his slang is ridiculous. You know what I mean? He's like, you know, Donna J. Bird. I was like, what's that? And Capadonna. I was like, and it wasn't no Capadonna Street on Staten Island yet. Like maybe 5 years later, there's like a Capadonna named after. I didn't know what Capadonna was.
What is Capadonna?
Well, I think it's like the leader of the priesthood or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, because there's a Capadonna in the Catholic. I think in the Catholic religion, there's something that's Capadonna. Yeah.
Why Winter Wars ain't had no drums, man? There was like a bass line missing from Winter Wars. Like when you turn it up.
No, the drums was filtered. The drums was filtered out with something caused the filter to phase, and I left it.
What? That was one of those mistakes that you were talking about, right?
Yeah. Like the filter phased out, and I was just like, I just loved the verses, and I loved the energy of the vibe of what was happening. But here's a man that comes out, drops his 32 bars. It wasn't a 16, and goes on to become a gold artist from one verse. He's just like, I would give respect to AZ on Nas, right? He had one verse on Nas joint. Goes on to become a
Life's a Bitch.
Yeah, he comes on to become a historical hip hop artist. I mean, Quamega, he just had a mention.
No, Nas album, yeah, One Love.
One Love.
Come home and got a record deal. That's the power of hip hop, yo.
How did you? What made y'all let Capadonna go so long? Did he write it, or he already have it? He just went in there and did it, and you was like, "Yo, keep it."
Yeah, he just aired it out.
Yeah.
He aired it out. I mean, he aired it out. You can't. When you know back in the day, when you even now, I guess when you hearing something, and you just hearing it, and it's just you can't stop listening. Right? It's like when Young Thug and what's like is Young Thug, Gucci and I think it's Travis on that song Floyd Mayweather. It's a long song, yo. I rocked that whole song all the way through. They just going in. They just going. I'm like, yo, I play that when I'm headed home. I still play it. That song is probably what 5-7 years old now. But they aired it out, and it's just like that's what it is. When you hear something that airs it out, you don't cut it.
Do you remember some of those legendary battles in the studios? Some of that you people might not know of, that you're there one day and it might be this artist and this, and they just going back and forth, and it's disgusting but great.
I mean, yeah. I mean, as far as Wu competition, one thing I love about my brothers is that it could get all the way up to fuck you. I mean, it could get that tense, and then everything's cool.
Who is the worst with that? That always gets personal, and it's.
Man, I mean, you could guess that.
You got?
Yeah. The Grouch. The Grouch. Come on, because he's unfiltered. He don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And he don't
I feel
care.
like Dirty would have been like that too.
Oh, Dirty. But see, the thing about Dirty though, right? Because Dirty was like that. You know what I mean? I mean, me and Dirty, yeah. But Dirty, I think with him, it was always like, I guess, like he's like he'll yell, get you hyped up, and then kiss you on your nose. You see what I mean? That's something magical about that. You know what I mean? And so for him, it's always like you can't help it. Like, that's nigga crazy. Yo. I love this dude, yo.
Right.
You know what I mean? With Yui, it wasn't no kiss. It's like this. And shit. And actually, somebody else usually got to slow it down. You know what I mean?
Who's that person? Who's the?
It could be anybody. Like I think Master Killer. The ninth member of the clan. I think he's always been a balancer.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, shout out to Master Killer. He's working on a new album called Balance right now. I think another MC. Once again, he just had those 8 bars on chess boxing. You know what I mean? But yet, built a career. Yeah.
Who's your favorite MC in Wu-Tang?
I mean, the GZA is the head. I mean, I argue with people if we want to argue, you know, and especially at that time, if you go and check the GZA's lyrics and his catalog of lyrics, I don't think you're going to find no other MC, you know, that have given, that compared to him lyrically. I mean, I put GZA as my favorite MC. And the way that he approached the mic and the things that he's done. You think about labels back then, where he's using every label, but he's telling you a cohesive, clear story. You know what I mean? With metaphors and wit and yeah, and then he goes on to do it again with Fame, and then he goes on to do it with Animal Planet. You know, when he did it with Animal Planet, which was crazy because he just used all the football teams and was talking about how the Jaguars against the Lions. And I was like, yo, that's like just as he's deep, but he takes him. It may take him like a year to write a verse like that. He won't write it like Ray will hit the pen and be done in an hour, and it should be fly, marvelous fly shit. You know what I mean? The GZA is like he's still working on it. Like you know what I mean? He got songs he's still been working on for 10 years because he won't say it. If he does something quick, he'll do it just because he has to do it. But that's not his best intention as an MC. His intention as an MC is to make it almost biblical or something, like almost like everything is no filler, no words are filling the ideas. You know what I mean?
Do we need another Wu-Tang type group or person to break the mold? Like you think about when Protect Your Neck came out, that was so unlike the mold that ever came out, right? It was no real hook. There was just verses. It didn't even start with a verse. It started with like it was just totally left, but it caught.
Right.
Do you think we need something like that to break the mold because everything is starting to sound monotonous?
Yeah, you always need a fresh jolt of energy, and I think we're gonna get it, man. It's MCs or artists right now that's in their college dorm or in their mom's crib or even in the projects, you know, with better equipment than we had, right, with his laptop or whatever, and they just cooking, and they're gonna come and show us. I also have a small prediction for hip hop. Like I think that hip hop we'll get the it's like before there's been a lot of gratifying of gangsterism, right? I think hip hop will now get artists that they weren't drug dealers, they're not criminals. They've studied this art, they lived hip hop in their form, and they're going to bring a wave that won't feel so threatening. And we had that, and not saying that they wasn't from the streets, right? But think of De La and Tribe, right? Think of Black Sheep and KMD.
Mos
right?
Def, Talib.
Think of Mos Def and Talib, right? But I was even going earlier than them because they come after it goes like that, and then they kind of most definitely
Big
come
Daddy
after
Kane.
that. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I feel like we just had that, though. The last 15 years, really, if you think about it, because you think about the Kendricks, the Drakes, the J. Coles, the Wale's, the Big Sean's, the Chance the Rappers, the Rhapsodies, like, they not on that street shit. And they've been the top guys in girls for the last however many years.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I think it's something else different, though, because I still think it's more like a, how can I put it? That it ain't just that, not from the streets, it's still another spoonful of that's missing, like another spoonful of like the multi-layer, okay, the fashion of it, right? So who out of those you name, who has the fashion?
The fashion? I don't know. Maybe I guess Wale. Maybe I don't know. Wale was
Maybe.
the guy. Yeah.
Maybe.
No. I mean, it's big fashion and influential. I don't think any of those guys.
Exactly.
As far as influence, I don't think.
Only maybe ASAP.
ASAP definitely.
yeah,
ASAP
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
ASAP definitely.
Okay, but then ASAP gives you the streets and the fashion.
Right.
You see what I mean? I'm talking about where it'll be they could fight because they've been training their whole life in some class. They could play the instruments because they've been playing the instruments. They got a college degree because their parents made them go to college. They love hip hop. They know they could quote Slick Rick. You know what I mean? They could quote Kendrick. You know what I mean? They could do all of that.
So that artist from the hood, but that's not hood, not in the gang, not gangster, went to college, got the degree, but study hip-hop, love hip-hop.
And maybe not from the hood. Maybe he's from the
suburbs.
But ain't that Cole? Cole went to college. Didn't he go to
Cole. That's definitely Cole.
No, that's Cole's, right?
That is Cole.
Right. Cole's is that, but then not the fashion.
Definitely not the fashion.
You know what I mean?
Right. For sure.
No. I was just saying. So I'm just saying. I think there's a generation of them that's going to come through that they could have been as beautiful as an R&B artist. Let's just use that, right? As witty as a hip hop artist, as focused as a let's just call it a fashion artist, right? And yet physically powerful as Ghostface Killer.
There's only one. There's only one like that.
Ooh.
Kanye. He's the only one that's not from the hood, very fashionable, very influenced. He was not spitting gangster.
But he don't got the physical, like he not intimidating. I get what RZA's saying. Yeah.
But he is a pioneer of that particular.
He is the pioneer of that, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta like Kendrick though.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Listen, one of Kendrick's first samples on his early songs was he sampled me, and I cleared it for free. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, keep that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's before he was about to go to the top of the world.
Right.
I just heard it. I don't know. He's spitting. He's a dope MC. Yeah, I gave Kendrick credit 10 years ago. I mean, and he's only gotten better. Yeah.
And Run the Jewels is the perfect fit. But why did y'all choose Run the Jewels? Was it something that y'all had him on the road before? Y'all knew Killer Mike. You're like, why was Run the Jewels?
We did a show with them. We did 2 shows with them before. And this may sound like they're like to me, Run the Jewels are like Rage Against the Machine. Like, think about that for a moment. Like, they are like their lyrics and they're having fun, of course, but they're also politically conscious. Their fans are like diehard Wu fans. Their energy. We did 2 shows with them. It was like, and we was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't know how big Rage Against the Machine was because I'm in my bubble. But when we was in Europe, they was like, you should go see these guys. And I went and saw them. I was like, oh shit, that's the energy that I love. Yeah, let's put those energies together. It was the same thing with Run the Jewels. They had 20,000 going crazy. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh shit. Even though I know Killer Mike for years, from his first Gold album. Of course everybody loved Michael, but
Jizza took Mike on tour back in the day.
Yeah. No, Mike said that Jizza
took him on tour and gave him God Body Game.
Yeah, he said Jizza pioneered him, and Jizza's one of those dudes that really, sparked his brain. But yeah, they did. This is a nice, like I said, this is a lyrical combination right here, and and we talked about it for almost a year, and then bang, here we living it.
What's the most underrated Wu-Tang song that you think deserves more love, and that when y'all perform on tour, everybody just goes crazy?
Well, depending where you at, right? But I know one Wu-Tang song that definitely seemed like, I don't think New Yorkers ever even heard it. Gravel Pit.
Ooh. Of course, that was with the video, y'all dressed like the Flintstones and all that.
yeah, exactly. All the fur coats and all that. But, man, overseas, you could play it twice in a concert.
They love it.
Wow.
Yeah. But in New York, they don't play that. You know what I mean? If somebody get mad, that come on, like goes to somebody and start frowning at you, like, yo, God, who the fuck do that? Yo, Math. Nigga. Math like, I ain't doing my verse.
What was it, the video or just?
You know what? I think I was reaching. I was like, I attempted to make a song in a RZA way that was like poppy.
Commercial.
For radio.
Yeah, I attempted, yeah.
But I never needed that.
I know, but I did. Here go the backstory of that song, if I could share real quick. No, that song was meant for Aaliyah. So,
Aaliyah?
Yeah, we was in the studio. We talked about it. And I said, I have this whole Flintstone concept. I'm gonna have you dressed up like
Betty.
Yeah,
It was Betty.
like Pebbles, but
Pebbles.
But you know, because Aaliyah was, you know, such in great shape and all that, and I just had this whole plan, and she was be like, yeah, we agreed, and it just, you know, things went, yeah.
So she was gonna sing over that beat and everything, or it was just a wow.
Yeah, and imagine her on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was more dancey and I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any other artists that you guys worked with that just never came to fruition? Like an X or
not? I think not Wu-Tang Clan itself, but I think, you know, all the members. I'm blessed with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But on the album called on the W was the album where it's the only Wu-Tang album that it was like, yo, let's let our brothers and some peers in. And so Busta's on it, right? Mm-hmm. Nas is on it, Snoop is on it, Redman is on it. You know what I mean? And those was, you know, Wu cousins.
Yeah, those are family members.
Yeah, yeah.
My last question, man. You talked about the importance of discipline and self-mastery throughout your entire career. Why is that so important for people to have in the industry now? Because I feel like it's a lack of it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if you don't know the ledge, like knowledge of self, know the ledge, you're going to fall off the edge. And it's really as simple as that. You know, your health is your wealth. All the things, you know, being young is fun. So that when they come in our industry, come in the industry, you know, they're young. It's exciting. You know what I mean? The blue pill, red pill, yellow pill, you know what I mean? And, you know, and you got and live. But, you know, since everything is more potent, you know what I mean? And everything is like, before what could take 10 years to take you out could take you out now in 1 year. So
less than that in times.
Yeah, just like the information before it took forever to get the information. Now you could just press the button. It's the same thing with negativity. And so I would tell, I would just shout out all my young artists out there, or even mature artists. Definitely take time to build yourself, build your mind. Don't get too caught up in it. You know what I mean? Look at this as your work, as your love, but keep yourself and your family first.
Word.
Well, we appreciate you for joining us. The tickets are on sale right now for the
Final
Wu-Tang
Chamber Tour with Run the Jewels.
Get your tickets, and we appreciate you, RZA.
Appreciate you too, brother.
All right,
Peace
it's
and
the
blessings.
Breakfast Club. It's RZA.
Bong, bong.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.